What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to TBM Sports. Let's get it going. Let's talk some MLB best bets Saturday, July 26th. I'll give you guys kind of my rundown as we will run the entire board. And also, I do have 3 plays that I will be making right now on this card. We will have each and every single team in the MLB in action. So let's get down into it, okay? First thing we are going to do is recap kind of yesterday what we have going on. If you haven't done so, though, make sure you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us. Completely free to hit the like button and the subscribe button, okay? For as many people that do watch these videos, it's actually not really where it should be for what we're doing here in the space. So let's get down into the picks, and we will use Outlier to break this all down. For those of you that are new, this is kind of what I do. I do pitch the Outlier platform. So if you aren't using it, there is a 7-day free trial in the description box, and quite frankly, it just kind of does it for you. All right, it's probably one of the best tools out there in the industry that if you're not using it, it just, even on their cheaper version, it is still, in my opinion, the best thing for all sports considered that you can find props, best numbers, all that good stuff, trends. That's why I use it, okay? So we're going to look into kind of what we have going on. Recap from yesterday, we played 3 totals going over, and the only one that did not win in cash was the Dodgers, okay? So you're going to lose some every once in a while, but hey, I'll take a 2 or 3 every day and twice on Sunday. Also kind of had a minus 106 in there with that Philly Yankees over 10. So that was one where we were able to kind of maximize the juice a little bit. Still not even money, but also Mets San Fran kind of went against the grain a little bit as that total was set at 7.5, and I think the Mets scored 7 or 8 themselves as we did cash that bet as well. So we are going to look into it. There's a lot of things that you could do today, and this is the fun part about baseball. There are so many offerings and markets to get into, whether it be props, pitcher outs, even just going down into no-run first inning bets. This is a 16-game slate. It's paralysis by analysis, and that's kind of why sometimes when I give my best bets, I hope it does help you guys kind of simplify that mindset before you enter a full slate, okay? First game on the docket, Philly and New York. We do get Ranger Suarez going against Marcus Stroman. You got to love it, right? The Bronx Bombers kind of got their stuff handed to them yesterday as Kyle Schwarber, pair of jacks he had in that contest. So it's been kind of fun watching the Phillies play hot and cold. And as we get down this odds board, we talk about these games. And one thing I will kind of mention right now, currently, the cream's starting to rise to the top. This is about the time of year, right after the trade deadline, once that does hit. And what I mean by that is look over the last 7 days, what we're looking at. Yankees, Dodgers, Phillies, arguably the 3 best lineups in baseball. Bang, 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 1, 2, 3 in terms of home runs, and also a lot of offensive metrics when we talk about kind of where they're at. And if you want to kind of get into the slugging, OPS, batting average, it's where you're going to find those teams alongside the Dodgers in the top 10. So we are seeing a lot of those numbers come back to form. There's a couple outliers actually in the space. So if we want to talk about teams that are on a tear, I think that individually there's a lot of players too that we could target. But the Phillies and Yankees, this is a game where I think I'm going to come back on New York. Okay, just getting into the picks. Plus 102. I hate betting on a team that does have Marcus Stroman throwing for them. But for me, guys, if I was playing this game, I would go a little bit of a zigzag, and I do like the Yankees at home with plus money. But for me, this is a no play for me unless you're betting the over. Set at 9.5. If you want a flat 9, fine. It's runs or nothing, okay? That's kind of how I look at it. But the Yankees are at plus 102 after a loss is attractive if you are a Yankees bettor, okay? Next game in the market, and this is one that we are going to have a play on, okay? The Toronto Blue Jays, from a hitting perspective, shockingly, in terms of my numbers and what I look at day to day, they're the number 2 best offense right now in the last 7 days of baseball. And surprisingly enough, if you guys want to know who the number 1 team is, you'll never guess it, but they're coming up a little bit later on this rundown, and I will kind of just point them out because it is kind of funny to talk about as we look at their overall record. So that's a little bit of a hint. But Kevin Gausman going against Tarek Skubal, okay? Gausman's serviceable. I'm not going to go against them in terms of just kind of looking into hey, we're playing against Skubal, we're just going to count them out. If we look at the Blue Jays as a team, from a pitching perspective, okay, they're getting it done in terms of striking out opposing batters. We talk about kind of where these clubs stack up, and I think it is kind of interesting as we look at their their numbers here, okay? Overall, the best pitching team in baseball, which would probably shock you, is the Texas Rangers as of recent, and I think you will find that the Toronto Blue Jays not so much, okay? But I have seen some numbers regression from Skubal. Yes, he's impressive. Yes, he is still going to be gunning it out there, probably getting some extra innings, but it's pretty much the Tigers' MO right now. They can't win a baseball game unless Skubal is on the bump, and that's kind of where I look at this game, and I'm going to go the opposite direction, okay? So call me crazy. I'm backing the Blue Jays on the road. I think it's going to be a business trip. They're going to go up there and hit the baseball. As you know, Skubal is very impressive. I'm not going to kid you guys. He's probably not going to give up more than 1 or 2 runs in his start. But I just think that why not? Why not us? I think that there is a room and an opportunity here where even if he does go 6, gives up 1 run, 2 runs, the Blue Jays still can do enough with behind Gossman, 7.7 in 4 ERA there for Kevin. And I do think that the Blue Jays are live. So as we look at this number at plus 166, give me a piece of that, okay? But I will take this in a different direction as well. This will be a split. We're going to do Blue Jays plus 1.5 for a half unit at minus 130, and Blue Jays plus 166 straight up on the money line at a half unit as well. So it does kind of give you that almost a Asian handicap, if you will. You can win 1/2, lose 1/2, or win 1/2, push 1/2. And that's kind of how I like the Blue Jays and how I'm going to back them going against Tarik Skubal, which I know our backs are against us. Don't kid me. He's a great pitcher, but I think that we can do enough offensively for the Blue Jays to get this job done, okay? Diamondbacks and Pirates, we're going to have to kind of pick up the pace here. I apologize. I got the espresso flowing. We're about to hit the course, so I do want to get all these in before it's about 5 a.m. where I'm at currently, okay? But as we look at the Diamondbacks and Pirates, this is where we're going to be talking about a minus 135 with the absence of Josh Naylor. We do get Merrill Kelly, one of the bright spots for that Diamondbacks rotation, going against Andrew Heaney, a pitcher I do like to fade. I got to be honest with you, I have no clue why in hell this number is minus 135 for the Diamondbacks on the road. We look at them, yeah, they've basically split 5 of their last 10 games. The Pittsburgh's been kind of a little bit of a breakthrough team, as we want to talk about them, but I just quite frankly can't understand why the Arizona Diamondbacks are minus 135. So this is a fish alarm for me. I know they're on the road, but hard not to bat the snakes here if you want to get involved with this game. This is a pass for me, though, because I don't trust it. Something's going along. So if Pittsburgh steals a win here at home, don't be saying I told you so, because this game makes 0 sense from a handicapping perspective, especially because these numbers are heavily shifted towards the pitching, and this is just extremely favorable towards the Diamondbacks, and the numbers and the betting splits are still backing them as well. It just doesn't, the number doesn't make sense. So that's kind of how I stack up. It's going to be a pass. Next game, Rays and Reds. Simply put, Andrew Abbott at home going against Pepiot. Pepiot was pretty fantastic in his last outing, I think, if my memory serves me correct. The Reds, as of recent, you know, I'm kind of looking to see what they'll be doing, but I think this is something where both of these, with the trade, in respect to the trade deadline, I should say, but I'm very curious to see what goes on in this game, okay? As we look at Tampa Bay, that's a team that can just simply put it on you, okay? But I think that the Reds are hitting the baseball a little bit better in current form. Another number I don't agree with, right? Minus 116 for the Reds. That is a number in a pitcher that I love to back, Andrew Abbott. If you do want to find a first 5 market for the Reds, probably how I would approach this: first 5, first 7, or taking some plus money with Andrew Abbott to record a win. I don't mind that. 8-1 on the year, 2.13 ERA. He's made us a lot of money back in him, this nice young lefty for the Redlegs. That's how I'd approach the game. Not an official play, but pretty strong leans as we talk about Rays Reds. All right. Moving down the board a little bit more so. And we are kind of skipping over the Cleveland game because it is a doubleheader, so I'll save that to last. Rockies, Orioles, Sentazela going against Tyler Rogers. This is just find a way to bet Baltimore, okay? Yes, Colorado has been paying out some people there at plus money as they've won 3 straight. not so fast. Trevor Rogers can get this one done. Rockies, though, they've cashed a lot of money line bets at plus money, and I think this is kind of why you're seeing the Baltimore Orioles minus 260 a little bit more so, is because they are coming off of that loss. So keep that in mind. For me, if you do want to kind of pair them, the Orioles, they're due for a win, and the one team in the market that you could pair them with would be the Minnesota Twins. So it's ugly. It's a little ugly money line parlay, but Orioles Twins probably the two most likely teams to win today if we're backing sheer money lines. Okay. Outside of that, not going to flirt with the total. That's a coin flip when they're not playing in Colorado. However, games at Camden Yards have been very profitable to the over, and team totals going to the over for the Orioles. So I don't mind that at all as well. Orioles team total, I would look into that. I think it would be set at 4.5. If 4.5 or 5.5 would probably be the number and the mark of demarcation before you get into some heavy juice. Okay, Braves, Rangers, that's the next game on the docket. Okay, and this is a game that we will have an official play in. All right, we're going to be taking the Texas Rangers minus 120. They've won 8 out of their last 10. Kumar Rocker, let's go get it, right? Going against Grant Holmes. I don't trust the Braves right now. They're away from their own place. And one thing is, within their contests, they've given up a lot of runs, okay? So opposing teams scoring a lot of runs against the Braves. A lot of that does not have to do with the numbers offensively they're putting up. So for me and my money, guys, we're going Texas minus 120 on the money line. That is an official play to go alongside the first one that I did give out between Toronto and Detroit. Okay, moving down the board a little bit, we're going to kind of get into our next official play, and this will be the third one of the evening as we look at the Athletics and the Houston Astros. The A's plus 176 on the money line, okay? And as we talk about this game, the interesting thing about it is we do get Lopez going against Hunter Brown, okay? So I'm going to take a stab here. This may be sharp, may be stupid, but as you want to look at kind of the Oakland or Sacramento Athletics, whatever the hell you want to call them, it's just always going to be Oakland for me. So don't, anybody living out there, I got your backs. Apologize. It's just not going to be the same in Vegas. But this is where I'm at, guys. We take the over 3.5. I like this here at plus 130. Okay, so I'm taking the Oakland, Sacramento Athletics over 3.5 at plus 130. It's just a value play. Okay, Hunter Brown, as we look at kind of his last starts, I know he's 9-4 on the season. But the one thing about him, and it's kind of interesting because I do want to say, 4 innings, 5 innings respectively. He's given up 3, 4, 6 runs in his last 3 starts collectively, okay? And not playing lights out offenses either. I know Texas, Seattle, Cleveland, they've been streaking in the month of July, but 2 runs to the Colorado Rockies, all right? And the list goes on and on. So he had a great June. I think collectively over that month of June in his 5 starts, he gave up 4 runs total earned, or 4 runs overall. Okay, forget about the earned perspective. And I just think the numbers are falling off a cliff a little bit. And I think that this does give us a way to make money in case this goes to a shootout. Athletics, Astros, we're taking the over 3.5 at plus 130. One of my favorite bets on the card. If we lose it, fine. But I think at this value, this is definitely where I'm at. Okay, not an official play. The next one we are going to talk about, but I did mention the Nationals and Twins. As we go down the board a little bit, I do like pairing the Twins money line with Joe Ryan going against Mitchell Parker. If you can find a dance partner for the Twin Legs, that's kind of where I'd be, and that's kind of how I would only approach it in that regard. Okay, Cubs, White Sox, another game where I do think that we could get some runs. 9.5 is that total. Always check your forecast for wind and directionality when it comes down to that. Within any games being played in Chicago, but I do think that the Cubs will prevail. Minus 185, little steep, and kind of a little sidebar note nugget, if you will. The number 1 team right now in the last week or 2 weeks of baseball, hitting the baseball OPS, as we look at those numbers from a metric perspective, they're top 3 in a lot of other ones, but it's the Chicago White Sox, okay? It's the Chicago White Sox. Cubs are in the top 10. Don't get it twisted. I still like the Cubs a lot. But in this game, I've been kind of, if you guys have been watching, I know a lot of people just click off the video once they get my official plays, but if you've been watching my rundowns, we've been on some leans within the White Sox, and it's very hard to say that, but it is nice when it does pay off, especially when you're backing a team that's 38-66. So stay hot. Not going to be mad at them. If you do want to kind of look at this perspective, I think the Cubs got to make a move, right? They do have a chance, 16-43, definitely going to make the postseason. They got to make a move, okay? I think that's something where you go bring in Kyle Tucker. You have a very nice front end of that rotation, but you got to get some depth or you got no shot competing against the Dodgers and honestly for the Padres for that matter, because I do think that they'll be able to flip a switch there if they do advance through the wild card later on in the season. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like all I was saying is White Sox at plus money. You can't hate that any day, especially when you can get a Chicago White Sox run line, which I will say it probably will not come down to one run, but at plus 105, the run line does look pretty juicy as it cashed in 90% of the last 10 games. All right, keeping it moving. We'll talk about the Marlins and Brewers as we go up the board a little bit. Game, quite frankly, where I do like junk. 4-2 on the year, 3.09 ERA. Quintana's been impressive as well. Milwaukee's kind of my sneaky pick, and yes, I am drinking the Kool-Aid, but give me some Brew Crew to win the NL, and even if you want to play some World Series exactas, if you have some Dodgers futures money out there, it's not a bad idea to kind of throw some down on the Brew Crew because there's, a handful of teams, if not just 2 or 3 that could compete with the Dodgers, I think, once we get to the postseason. But I got to be honest with you guys, I'm not liking the Dodgers in current form. So it's always good to have some hedging opportunities out there if you are a futures bettor, something I do enjoy often as well. All right, but I do like the Marlins, and this is something where it's unbettable at plus 145. I'd have to get close to plus 170, plus 180 to get involved. Marlins team total, possibly, if you want to find that on the road. But Milwaukee there is a very strong choice here on the money line. It's just too expensive. This game's unbettable. I have criteria for what makes my list, unless there's something just completely a lock, which I don't like to ever call for, but it's just the truth, right? That's how you have to bet baseball. All right, Dodgers and Red Sox. That's the next game we're going to get into. Dodgers plus 125. Have a day, Clayton Kershaw going against Garrett Crochet. This is a strong lean towards the Dodgers. It's almost a principal bet. Anytime you can get the Dodgers at plus money, you almost have to just shake hands with the deal and roll the dice. Whether they win or lose, it does not matter. If it's fishy, sure, but the Red Sox have been fairly impressive as of late as well, but I think they could catch them a little bit sleepwalking here. I'm not a big fan of Garrett Crochet, okay, 2.19 ERA. It's funny how they handicap this basically based off of the Dodgers being on the road. And it negates kind of what we're seeing there from a pitching perspective. Otherwise, if this was such a strong advantage, I think that you would see this number close to minus 110, $1.15, maybe even to both sides. Okay, so that's kind of how I feel about it. Dodgers plus 125, sure, call it square. I don't really care. I know that rhymed. I wasn't trying to. Watched Happy Gilmore 2 last night, so that was just kind of a little bit of a continuation of that. But Dodgers on the money line, that's where I would stack up. Padres and Cardinals, let's get down into it. Little Randy Vasquez going against Matthew Liberatore as we look at the Padres, plus 136 there on the money line. Don't love it, don't hate it, okay? The Padres have dropped 4 straight. And before then, they were on kind of a little bit of a mission, winning 3 or 4 of their last 6, okay? But the Cardinals, they're having a little bit of trouble here, okay? A little bit of trouble offensively. And what I mean by that is, quite frankly, they're just not hitting the baseball, okay? So I want to kind of look into their runs scored more so than their average. Converting those runners on base, I think, is the only thing that will show up. Personally, I know a lot of people that batted over, 300 every single year, but their production was absolute shit. So you really do have to look into the deeper metrics, and that's kind of where you look into the St. Louis Cardinals a little deeper down the board. They're bottom 10 basically in baseball in terms of runs scored, but more so above middle of the pack in batting average, and that does kind of lean into the conversation. But I think that the Padres, for a extended stretch too, were pretty much bottom 10 in a lot of different categories within what they were doing, okay? So that's how I look at it. I just think it's another plus money proposition at plus 136, where I do like the Padres, okay? Mets, Giants, not going to get involved with that. the Mets at plus 100. I do kind of favor that direction. If you want to look at kind of David Peterson going against Robbie Ray, it's very hard to bet against Robbie Ray, especially when he's pitching in San Fran. Mets are hot. They've won 7 of their last 10 and 5 straight at plus 100. Why not? I think David Peterson can give us enough of a quality start to get the Mets through, and the Giants, got kind of taken behind the woodshed yesterday. So I do like the Mets if I was going to bet this game. Outside of that, no official play. Okay. And then the last game before that, Guardians Royals doubleheader that I will not be betting. You guys know me. I don't bet doubleheaders unless otherwise mentioned. I just kind of cross them off my list because the numbers don't really apply. Weird shit can happen, so I either go overs or I take basically a zigzag if the team that should have won the first game loses. So that's kind of why I won't be talking about the Guardians and Royals. But the last game on the card, Mariners and Angels, we get George Kirby going against Anderson. Now, Kirby has been impressive. Really like kind of what he's been doing. The Mariners rotation is kind of coming back to form, similar to what we saw last year with Brian Wu and George Kirby. I mean, they look like they had 2-3 Cy Young candidates potentially down the road. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think this one could have some runs as we do look at the total set at 8.5 being played in Los Angeles. But also, I do kind of like Seattle here, minus 150, if we're being honest with ourselves. Just a little too much money for me if we're talking the money line. So that's kind of where I'm at. That is my rundown of the entire board. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. If you haven't done so by now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us. I will recap the 3 plays that I will have on the diamond today. One thing I do want to mention, though, when I do say what my official plays are, that is what I'm going off of, okay? When I'm just talking about each and every game, I'm giving you my thoughts, my insight. Doesn't mean I'm betting it. Doesn't mean that's a recommendation, obviously. So, if you're going to watch the entire video, you guys want to hear about each and every game. That's why I do it, okay? But if you just want to tail me, you want to fade me, whatever you want to do, those are my official plays, and that's kind of what I base my record and how I do things, right? If you're going to just take the 16 games we talked about and bet each game that I did talk about in the way that I said, a lot of times that's not going to work out. And I think that what's happening is a lot of people are getting confused. My official plays are my official plays, and that is going to be kind of what the end-all be-all is. That's for what we use for tracking purposes, and those are going to be the ride or dies, okay? So to recap kind of what we had going on in that direction, the first play that we did have on the board, okay, as we get up the board, is going to be the Blue Jays going for the upset here. We're taking a split money line, split run line, as we would put a half unit on the plus 166, half unit on the Blue Jays at a plus 1.5 at minus 130, and that will be my first official play. So it's a half unit split both ways. Okay, the next one is the Texas Rangers money line, minus 120, back in the Rangers against the Braves. That will be the next bet I do have. And then also the Athletics, we're taking them, I believe it's plus 130 is what I locked in, over 3.5 runs team total. Okay, so those are my 3 best bets. The 2 leans that I will say, this kind of sidebar that I did talk about, that I will kind of mention again, that will be the Reds money line, and also the parlay that I would cook up within taking. Well, I think it would be the Mets money line and the Reds money lines. Those are 2 games I do like that I just didn't bet. But the one parlay that I did cook up, if you did want to get involved, that would be between the Twins and the Orioles. All right, so that'll bring it close to, if not above, even at some plus money. So those are my best bets. We have 3 today. Yesterday, went 2 of 3. The record is hot. Not going to jinx myself. Let's just keep it going. All right, let's keep it going. Love talking baseball with you guys, and good luck with your plays. We'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace.